On this episode of Out of Left Field, a former major leaguer leads a bunch of little leaguers into all-star playoffs, and Pocono Raceway's manager of marketing and promotions lets us sit shotgun during his race week preparations. Plus, we celebrate 35 years of a local basketball league looking for a renaissance. Out of Left Field is brought to you in part by Coordinated Health Hazleton Campus. Better together. Yay! I wasn't released by SSP TV in the off-season, and here we are for Season 3 of Out of Left Field. In 2011, International League MVP Russ Canzler of Cunningham broke into the majors. He played a few games for the Tampa Bay Rays as they pushed toward the postseason, beating out the Boston Red Sox for the wild card in dramatic fashion. In the offseason that year, Canzler came home along with his manager, at the time Hazleton native Joe Madden, for an event to raise money for the Hazleton Integration Project. The event was held close to Christmas time, and Canzler seemed more popular than Santa Claus with a group of little leaguers I interviewed. Canzler has gifts, and he used them to add to his stats in the majors and the minors over the last few seasons before moving to a front office position with the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Rail Riders in 2016. He settled down in his hometown of Cunningham, and Christmas came very early for a team of all-stars for the Valley West Little League, excited to learn all they could from a guy who's made it to the highest level, Coach Canzler. From the start, Russ Canzler's team knew what it was going to be like to play for him.
I told him, I said, look, I'm never going to be disappointed in you as long as you give me a good attitude and a good effort, because in professional baseball, that's the mantra we hear all the time. The only thing that you can really control is your attitude and your effort. So as long as you're going out there and you're giving your best effort, you're hustling on and off the field, and you're staying upbeat regardless of what the scoreboard says, you know, we won. I feel like Gene Hackman and Hoosiers, but we're winners in my book. So, you know, and that's important for kids at this age level. And I told them from day one, I said, look, I'm gonna treat you guys like we're pros. We're gonna do a routine like I did in spring training. We're going to be moving a lot throughout practice, you know, so you got to stay with me. There was a little bit of a learning curve, but they picked up on it pretty quick.
Playing like the pros can be tough.
Look, I said it a couple times today now. I do not care how hard we are throwing the ball today. I want to see us hitting guys in the chest.
Playing like the pros can also be a lot of fun.
I mean, obviously with a young group of kids, you want to keep it fun, because this is fun, and that's the most important thing. You know, you want to make sure that the fundamentals are being stressed in an appropriate way, and that the kids are having a good time. You know, obviously All-Stars winning stressed a little bit more, but it's still 9 and 10-year-old kids, so you want them to, regardless of what happens in the win or loss column, you want them to go to move on from this, learning some things about the game of baseball, learning how to play the game the right way, and having a great experience the whole time.
Why don't you chew it? No gross. You got your mouth, all right. Seeds. Cover it with seeds. Okay. Wrap it up into a ball. Automatic hit. Automatic hit right there. Just suck on it, yeah. Automatic hit.
When you heard Russ was going to be your coach, how did you react? Were you like, okay, was there some pressure? Were you excited? What was it like when you found out Russ was going to be the coach?
I was nervous because I don't want to screw up in front of him.
How do you feel now that he is the coach? Do you feel like kind of more relaxed? Or?
Yeah, I feel more comfortable.
He's kind of a laid-back guy, right?
Yeah.
Yes, question.
Is that like the same with third base? Like the
Third base? Third base? Because you don't have to worry about getting back to a base. You go get everything you can get, okay? Until the shortstop calls you off, you have to assume that every ball is your ball. Right. Well, that's a good question. That's a good question.
And I said whenever my playing career was over, I wanted to get involved in coaching. I always felt like we had really good players in our area, and they just needed to be molded a little bit. So if I can take what I learned in my playing career and help be a positive role model and be a good impact on young kids and young players, then I was all for it. So I was extremely excited when the opportunity presented itself to come here and help out this group of kids.
This is where it all started for Russ Canzler. Before he was smashing home runs on his way to becoming the International League MVP, before he was playing with the Tampa Bay Rays on their historic run to the postseason in 2011, he was a little leaguer here in Cunningham.
These are some of the best memories that, I was fortunate enough to play on this field when I was a kid and swim at the pool across the street. So I had some of my best memories as a kid on that field. So to see it happen full cycle for me, now my kids are getting involved. My little guy comes here to practices and has fun with the team. It's just a great atmosphere. It's a great environment, and it's a testament to what Little League Baseball and how good it can be for kids.
The Cunningham Crusher had 144 home runs in his professional baseball career, so he knows a thing or two about hitting.
You got to have a little bit of a weight transfer to the pitcher. See how my weight, look, I'm back, and I rock my weight forward. All right, look at my hips. Boom. All right, right there to the pitcher.
Canzler also knows that just like a player can make an error, umpires can make a bad call.
It doesn't change, whatever level you're playing at. Unfortunately, it's part of the game. Those guys are out there trying. It's just going to happen. Bad calls are going to go both ways. But that was one thing I wanted to stress to them, that regardless of what happens, we still want to carry ourselves with class, and we still want to act mature and handle those things, because the game's going to bring it back to you at some point. You might get another chance to come up later in the game and pick your team up, or you might get a chance to make a big play in the field. And if you let those things affect you negatively, it can hurt the team in the long run. So that's something that we stress to them. Obviously just on performance based, that's one thing that we talk about, is just keeping a positive attitude. Even in our scrimmages, we came from behind both times in our scrimmages and battled hard, and that's so big for young kids, because they do get down on themselves so easily. They want it more than I do. They want it more than their parents do. They want it so much out there. They're trying so hard. So it's very easy for them to get down on themselves. So helping them understand the benefits of staying positive, of picking each other up regardless of what happens, is just a key lesson for life to help develop their character.
Character is a big part of what Canzler is coaching, and to help build character during his practices, he holds a lot of competitions.
Ready for a little game? First team to 10, no drops, wins. So if you bobble it, that's where the coaches, we got to keep our eyes, because they'll cheat on us. Count it out loud. Count it out loud, okay? First team to 10 wins. You didn't catch it. No, you bobbled the one before too.
Look, we're here to get better. We're here to improve ourselves, and we're here to understand how to compete the right way, how to pull for each other, how to play against each other, how to handle failure, how to handle success. And that's why I think baseball is such a great teacher for life, because it teaches you those lessons that'll carry on regardless. We hope all these kids go off and they play professionally and they get to the major leagues if that's their dream. But in all reality, that's not going to be the case for a lot of them. So we want to make sure we stress their character just as much as the development of their baseball game.
These kids love the competition, and while they are willing to learn, they're also very confident in their abilities.
Do you think you could strike out Russ Canzler if Russ was taking it easy? Would you challenge him?
Yes.
All right, so even later in the season, can we see this matchup?
Yep.
How would you pitch to him?
I throw him 2 curveballs.
That's another out of left field segment altogether. Let's wrap up this one.
What do you like about Russ?
He never really yells or anything, unlike some of my former coaches.
Yes, he's pretty laid back. I mean, I thought he was going to be very tough but is he always do you feel like it's easy to learn like that?
Yeah, I feel like it's easier and it's not as much pressure going on you.
So we have a happy team and a happy coach.
Russ, does this make you feel young or old or both, or how does this make you feel?
Definitely makes me feel young again. These guys have a lot of energy. They bring a good attitude to the field every day, and I joke that I'm kind of falling in love with baseball over again. I get to see these young kids that just really love the game and show up every day with a passion to get better.
Coming up next, we'll drop in on Pocono Raceway's manager of marketing and promotions during one of his busiest weeks of the year. Out of Left Field is brought to you in part by Coordinated Health Hazleton Campus. Better together. Welcome back, sports fans. NASCAR is notorious for being a super fan-friendly sport. Well, local NASCAR fans, I'm about to introduce you to your new best friend, J.J. LaRose. You might not recognize the name, but if you're from the Hazleton area, you might, since he hails from Sugarloaf. But you will recognize his work. As Pocono's manager of marketing and promotions, he spends countless hours during race week, and all year really, making sure the fan experience at the track is spectacular.
Race week is like no other week of the year here. It gets crazy real fast, usually about 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock on Friday the week before. Everybody kind of says, oh man, it's race week, and then Monday morning you're here and NASCAR's here and all their sprint trailers are here, and about the middle of the week all the teams and the drivers will start rolling in, and it's an atmosphere like no other.
Like pistons pumping in an engine of a stock car, people are flying all over the main offices of the Pocono Raceway. In a tiny space behind the ticket counter is JJ LaRose from Sugarloaf. This is his race week home, and he made it for himself.
We actually have 2 offices here. We have 2 separate offices. When I interned, I was down in the lower office. Then I came back the summer after and was just kind of kicking around down there. And then when I got my full-time position at the beginning of 2016, I moved up here to the ticket office, and I was in the back room. But as the ticket office staff grows, getting closer to race week, I kind of decided that I was going to move into this storage room that I used for a lot of my promotional materials. Moved that all out and came in, and it actually turned out to be a pretty nice space.
It's early on the Monday of race week. LaRose just sits down and he's hit with a request for his pal, Tricky the Fox. Someone wants Pocono's mascot to sign their RV at the race this weekend.
My job is basically all with the fans. Outside of race weekend, doing the marketing and promotions, I get to be on the streets and talk to these fans one-on-one. But during race week, you know, they spend their hard-earned money to come here and enjoy a race, and we try to give them the best experience possible for their hard-earned dollars.
If that means LaRose has to drive Tricky through the infield to autograph an RV, then so be it. There was no sign of Tricky on this Monday, and we even stopped by his foxhole.
Welcome to Tricky's race weekend home, and kind of the storage facility of a lot of the stuff I have to do with our first-time fans and Kids Zone equipment. Not a very glamorous space, but it does have AC, which on those hot July days is a very nice little touch.
This is like Tricky's foxhole, like
This,
come back here.
this is the foxhole, yep, exactly.
That's awesome. So you're a big part of your job as kids, like managing the next generation of NASCAR fans.
Yes, which is something that I love, because not that long ago I was that next generation of NASCAR fan. And if I can help those kids, you know, learn the sport a little more and stay interested, that's going to help our fan base, and then that's what it's all about. It's all about the fans. Really cool thing is when you see kids a couple years in a row. This is my 3rd year here. There's kids in the kids club and kids that are hanging out with fans of people that I know come to every single race, and I see it every single race. And I love watching them come back and seeing them grow up in the sport. And as their drivers progresses, some of them, you know, one year they're a Dale Jr. fan, the next year they come back as a Danica fan, and they're just trying to find what they really enjoy. And you know, if I can help them do that a little bit, that makes my day.
Tricky the Fox seems very cool, but diehard NASCAR fans may be more interested in what LaRose has to say about the drivers.
Now, like, do you get over it eventually? Like, oh, there's Dale Jr. again, or is it still like, since you're a racing fan, you're like, this is awesome?
It's always awesome, but at a certain point, you just get comfortable and you realize that, you know, everybody in this sport they're just another human being. They don't want to be treated any differently. They're just here to do their job, and a couple people want to get their autographs, so they have that. But yeah, everybody's very cool, and there's not a whole lot of egos, really, would be the way to put it, I guess.
There may not be a lot of egos in NASCAR, but there are a lot of sponsors. Remember in Talladega Nights when Ricky Bobby gets the Fig Newtons logo plastered on his windshield? Will Ferrell's character says, "This sticker is dangerous and inconvenient, but I do love Fig Newtons."
You get to deal with a lot of things. Sponsor obligations is something that I didn't necessarily learn in school, but it's something you learn pretty quick here. Difference between certain products and what you can and can't have, and put in certain places. It's all about showing off those sponsors the best we can and giving them the best for their dollar, just like we do with the fans.
LaRose says this is his dream job, and this is probably how that dream was born.
Yeah, my dad raced when he was younger a little bit, but for years, from the time I could walk, he was bringing me up here, hanging out in the grandstands, and then when I got a little older, going to the infield. So Pocono was always a place pretty close to my heart, and it's a place that I really felt comfortable at even before I got here and knew anybody. My interview, I walked in, and the guy who interviewed me had a big Dale Jr. poster on the wall, was a Phillies fan, and as am I. And and we kind of hit it off right off the bat and felt right at home pretty quickly here.
Once the weekend starts, LaRose spends some long hours in Long Pond.
But the beginning, you know, pre-race, you see a lot, especially on my end with the mascot Tricky. He's part of all the pre-race festivities. And then post-race victory lane, Tricky's there as well. So that's something that I've been lucky enough to experience a few times in the past 3 years, and I love it. But during the race, every now and then you'll get a break where you can stop and watch a few laps here and there, but there's so much going on. Again, with the small staff, that you're usually running around doing something.
At the end of the day, LaRose isn't in a hurry to race home. Sometimes he does just the opposite. He races around work.
You said you come out here, you bike after work, and that's got to be a full perk of the job, is coming out to the track.
Yeah, it's something a few of us do. We have some bicycles and we make a few laps, try and stay in shape a little bit. It's a pretty cool little perk when the track's quiet, for sure.
What's it like taking a bike around it? You took me around the track, and like you said, that the embankment as you're going around the turns, I mean, you go all the way up there. That's gonna be pretty intense.
We do. We usually ride the top, so that coming out of the corners, you kind of coast down, and it makes the ride a lot easier.
It can be hard to chase down dreams, but the Pocono Raceway has a reputation for helping people achieve high speeds. Still to come on Out of Left Field, we go outside and play with the Hazleton Recreation Department as they celebrate 35 years of the Saullo-Serany Basketball Leagues. Out of Left Field is brought to you in part by Coordinated Health Hazleton Campus. Better together. Thank you for coming back for more Out of Left Field. It's been 35 wonderful years for the Saullo-Serany summer basketball programs in Hazleton. It's a great way to keep basketball players' skills sharp, keep kids in shape, and shape the entire city for the better. Growing up in Hazleton, everyone had a home court. Hazleton Area High School head basketball coach Mike Joseph called the Ott Miller Playground his home. Playground basketball seems like something special. Like, do you have memories at Ott Miller?
Oh, God. I mean, I spent most of my youth there. Trying to become a better player, and unfortunately, I think kind of the sign of the times, playground sports. I know ESPN did a thing on this a couple of years ago, trying to reflect back on how important it was when young people played outside all the time. You know, I had my courts where I'd go shoot over at MPB Playground. I'd play a lot of games at Ott Miller Playground. You could always find games wherever you went. 5th Street in West Hazleton, James Street. Pine Street had the low rims where people could go and try and dunk on. Everybody had memories of playing playground basketball. Unfortunately, with AAU basketball and travel baseball and a lot of the things that consume our time now, kids more often play in gyms now than they do outside. We play in an outdoor tournament down in Allentown that draws nearly 64 teams to a 4-day tournament. And usually we practice a few days before we go down there outside, because I know my guys don't play as much outside as my players or players in Hazleton and other places used to. So it definitely is an adjustment. Shooting in the wind, dribbling the ball in the hard court, it's definitely adjustment. And I would love to see it, you know, kind of revitalized. But I think it's just a sign of the time. You know, guys go to basketball facilities, they go to the Ys, they go to these places like Spooky Nook down in Lancaster that has a dozen courts that people play on. It just, I guess it's more comfortable for people to play inside.
How do you get more kids to play outside? The Hazleton Recreation Department is using Tony Farnell's Saullo-Serany Basketball Leagues.
You saw what the weather was on the opening night of Saullo-Serany. I can't imagine why anyone would be involved with playing Xbox or any of those things when they could be outside and experience that beautiful weather that we had.
Basketball outside, it seems like it has a special place, Americana. I mean, would you agree with that there's just something about playground basketball?
Absolutely. There's no better place. You know, you can build some great friendships out there. People come and you know, you get a game together, and some lifelong friendships have been developed as a result of being on the playground and meeting people and the instructors and so forth.
Joseph, the league's current director, doesn't remember if he was there for the first summer of Saullo-Serany in 1981, but he definitely has some great memories of playing during the league's early years.
One of the first experiences I had in playing summer basketball was in Saullo-Serany. Coach Leib, when he came back to Hazleton, one of the first times that he saw me play was in a game at Beach Street in Saullo-Serany. I was wearing glasses at the time. I didn't get contacts until I was in September of my senior year. And I had a pretty good game, scored a good number of points. And I remember the first open gym I showed up with contacts, and he said, "Why are you wearing contacts now? You scored so many points with glasses. I don't want to see you change that." On summer nights, you know, for years and years, there would be hundreds and hundreds of players playing at Beach Street Playground. We used to have teams from all over Schuylkill County, all over the area, playing as teams. And it just brought great excitement for the game of basketball, and it allowed guys to compete.
When Jeff Cassat took over as mayor of the city of Hazleton in January of 2016, he faced a lot of challenges. How is he going to fight crime? How is he going to clean up the city? How is he going to bring people with mixed backgrounds together? Cassat thought of the kids, and he thought of Saullo-Serany Basketball.
It all starts at home when you're a child, you know, and they're the things that you need to get out of the house and do stuff, meet people, and interact. You know, so the playground program, the recreation program, it gives the kids a choice. You know, if you don't have something for the kids to do, they're going to get themselves in trouble. This is just a way of growing and learning, you know, the proper ways of having fun as a kid. I always said that to get the community together, you got to put them in the situation with a common interest. And sports is one of them things. You don't have to speak the same language to play sports. You know, everybody knows what's going on, and it's another reason it's very important.
Joe Zeller came in as recreation director to help fulfill Cassat's vision. The first important step was getting Saullo-Serany back outside after being held indoors for a number of years and seeing the number of players in the league drop. On July 7th, 2016, the 35th season of Saullo-Serany Basketball started outside at the Beach Street Playground.
It brought a smile to my face seeing the activity. When I pulled up and I saw the kids out on the basketball court, and I said, this is something that I wanted to accomplish, and one of my goals as recreation director and working with the city has been fulfilled. Now all we have to do is make it better.
Zeller wasn't the only one smiling on July 7th. Tony Farnell created the Saullo-Serany program. He passed away in the fall of 2015, and this is the first summer the league will go on without him.
35 years later, you know, we conceived this idea of having a local summer basketball program. We have a morning program that's instructional, we have a night program, an evening program that's competitive, and he wanted to give young people in Hazleton an opportunity to compete against one another in a great setting at a great park like this, and have the fans come out and watch it. And you know, I'm sure he's looking down pretty smiling, seeing that we're back outside tonight.
There's a number of renovations planned for the playgrounds in Hazleton. It seems everyone's home court is getting an upgrade.
It does seem like Hazleton has some positive momentum. You think Saullo-Serany and sports will be a part of this comeback story?
Absolutely. You know, we're looking to build on our history here and make Saullo-Serany and the Hazleton Recreation Department a premier program once again, and we're well on our way to doing that.
If you liked Out of Left Field, clap really loud. If you didn't, boo. I'm just kidding. It doesn't work like that. Go to SSP TV's Facebook page and clap or boo. Let us know what you think. And check out past episodes at ssptv.com. Until next time, take it easy, friends.